What's going on now, and I'm not going to get into details because I'm not going to just expose her personal life, but it's 10 times worse than anything that I've said in my book.
That you are doing this because the child support ended with Britney.
Really? You want to go there right away? All right.
Did you ever think you'd see Britney Spears finally break her silence about Kevin Federline? After years of quiet distance, the pop icon has stepped forward to address her ex-husband's explosive new claims. And let's just say, she didn't hold back. What started as a seemingly harmless memoir release has now turned into one of the most heated celebrity feuds of the year, and Britney's response has people completely divided. Kevin's upcoming memoir, titled You Thought You Knew, was supposed to be his chance to tell his side of the story. But when early excerpts leaked online, the world gasped. In it, Kevin describes shocking moments from their time together, scenes so wild that even longtime Britney fans weren't sure what to believe. He paints her as unstable, unpredictable, and out of control during the height of her fame. According to Kevin, there were nights when he'd wake up and find Britney standing in the doorway with a knife in her hand, saying she didn't trust anyone. Not even him. He also claimed she was using substances during her pregnancy and while breastfeeding, accusations that instantly lit up every gossip site on the internet. He even threw in a few claims about alleged infidelity, suggesting Britney had been involved with one of her female dancers during their marriage. Before we go deeper, take a second to like this video if you've been following Britney's story for years. Comment whose side you're on so far, Britney's or Kevin's, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next update in this messy saga. Now let's break down what really went down behind the scenes.
I'm absolutely, as a father, terrified that one day I might wake up and my sons are going to have to deal with the unimaginable.
Now, on paper, this all sounds like tabloid fiction. Except Kevin swears it's true. His tone in interviews has been calm, measured, almost rehearsed. And that's exactly what makes Britney's fans furious. Because to them, it feels less like truth and more like manipulation. The kind that's haunted her for nearly 2 decades. Within hours of the first quotes spreading across social media, Britney's team released a statement that hit back hard. Her rep called Kevin's claims gaslighting at its finest, adding that he was repackaging the same lies that destroyed her once before. Britney herself followed with a late-night post that made headlines across the world. "You can tell your story, Kevin," she wrote, "but stop selling mine." That single line sent the internet into meltdown. Fans flooded her comments, defending her, calling Kevin a liar and accusing him of exploiting her once again for profit. Others, however, weren't so quick to dismiss his words, pointing out that Kevin had mostly stayed quiet since their divorce and was now simply telling his truth. The debate split the internet down the middle, and that's when Britney decided to speak out directly. In a follow-up video on her social media, Britney didn't mince words. She said, "For years, I stayed silent while people told lies about me. But this time, I'm done staying quiet." Her tone was calm but firm. She didn't deny that her past was messy, but she made it clear that Kevin's version was a twisted exaggeration designed to make him look like a saint. She ended with, "I'm not perfect, but I'm not what he's trying to sell."
It's always been about my family. And that's what people don't really realize, is that every step that I've taken has been for the benefit of my children. And
it's been almost 20 years since Britney and Kevin first met. And if you followed their story, you know it wasn't exactly a fairy tale. They met in 2004 when Kevin was a backup dancer, already engaged to another woman who was pregnant with his child. Within months, he left that relationship and married Britney in a surprise ceremony. It was fast, impulsive, and destined to crash. By 2007, Britney was in full meltdown mode. Paparazzi chased her everywhere, tabloids dissected every move, and her mental health was unraveling in public. Kevin filed for divorce and fought for custody of their 2 sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James. What followed was one of the ugliest custody battles Hollywood has ever seen. Kevin got full custody, while Britney was placed under a conservatorship that lasted more than a decade. The conservatorship became one of the most controversial legal situations in pop culture. It meant Britney's father, Jamie Spears, controlled almost every aspect of her life, from her finances to her medical decisions. Kevin benefited indirectly from that arrangement, collecting child support payments while remaining mostly silent about the ordeal. But now, with the conservatorship long over, fans are questioning the timing of his memoir. Why speak now, unless there's something to gain? And that's where things start to look messy again. Kevin's child support officially ended last year when their youngest son turned 18. Around that same time, sources say he began shopping around a tell-all book deal. Publishers knew the topic would sell, especially after Britney's own memoir, The Woman in Me, dominated bestseller lists. It's no coincidence that his memoir is set to release just days after the anniversary of her conservatorship ending. It's marketing gold, but it also feels calculated. Still, Kevin insists this isn't about money. He claims it's about setting the record straight and showing what it was really like living with Britney behind closed doors. But critics say the tone of the book, laced with lurid stories and selective details, sounds less like honesty and more like revenge. Even Britney's former lawyer commented that Kevin's words could be defamation dressed up as confession. Britney, on the other hand, seems to be taking a new approach to handling public attacks. Instead of erupting in anger like she might have in the past, she's been choosing her words carefully. Her latest statement said, "I've made peace with my past, but I won't let anyone rewrite it." That's classic Britney. Calm, poised, and powerful even when she's being dragged through the mud. But here's the part that really hits home. The kids. Sean Preston and Jaden James are adults now, and they've had complicated relationships with both parents. Kevin claims in his book that the boys distanced themselves from Britney because they felt uncomfortable around her. Britney responded by saying she has always loved and supported her sons, and that she prays they find peace beyond the noise. It's heartbreaking to watch two people who once shared a family now turn every memory into a headline. Even fans are divided on this one. Some blame Kevin for poisoning the kids' perception of their mother. Others think Britney's erratic past behavior left scars that time hasn't healed. But the truth probably lies somewhere in between. What's undeniable, though, is that these kids have spent their entire lives under a microscope. And both parents are now fighting to control how that story is told. If you've been following Britney for years, you know this isn't the first time she's had to defend herself against people profiting off her name. From ex-managers to family members, everyone seems to have cashed in on telling Britney's story. And fans are tired of it. They see Kevin's book as another example of a man capitalizing on her trauma. Some even call it Free Britney 2.0. Except this time, she's not fighting a conservatorship. She's fighting a narrative. Back to the chaos, because it gets even more twisted. Kevin has claimed that Britney once confessed to being in love with one of her female dancers during their tour. According to him, it was the breaking point in their marriage. But insiders who were on that tour tell a different story. They say Kevin was the jealous one, suspicious, controlling, and constantly checking in. One dancer told a journalist he'd show up unannounced just to see who she was talking to. There's also talk that Kevin was the one leaking information to tabloids at the time. During Britney's lowest moments, paparazzi often knew exactly where she'd be, sometimes minutes before she arrived. Fans have long suspected that someone close to her was feeding the press, and now people are starting to connect the dots. Fast forward to today, and Britney's clearly had enough. She's focusing on rebuilding her life, writing music privately, working on a possible Netflix documentary, and surrounding herself with people who aren't trying to use her name for attention. When asked if she planned to read Kevin's memoir, she replied, "No. I lived it." That single line sums up everything. Meanwhile, the public's reaction has been fascinating. On one side, you've got fans who believe Kevin's book exposes the real Britney, the person behind the fame, the chaos, the paparazzi breakdowns. On the other side, people see it as character assassination, a desperate grab for attention. Either way, both sides are keeping the story trending, which only benefits Kevin's book sales. But here's where the irony kicks in. Britney has more power now than ever. For years, she was painted as fragile and helpless. But today, she owns her story. When she speaks, people listen. Her Instagram captions, cryptic as they may be, reach millions instantly. And this time, she's not waiting for the media to twist her words. She's speaking them herself. That's why this Britney versus Kevin saga feels like more than just a celebrity fight. It's a battle over control, reputation, and truth. Kevin wants to be seen as the responsible parent who kept things together while Britney spiraled. Britney wants people to see her as the survivor who clawed her way back from being silenced. And somewhere between those two extremes lies the messy, complicated reality of their past. No matter whose side you're on, one thing is undeniable. Britney has never been this self-aware. Instead of letting others define her, she's defining herself, even if that means confronting painful memories head-on. And that's what makes her response to Kevin so powerful. It's not about denying her past, it's about reclaiming it. As for Kevin, well, only time will tell how his book performs once it's released. Maybe it will fade into the sea of celebrity memoirs that come and go every year, or maybe it'll spark another round of public debate about who really ruined that marriage. But one thing's for sure. Britney's words will echo longer than any tell-all could, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about fame or fortune. It's about a woman who spent years being controlled and now finally refuses to be quiet. She's calling out the double standards, the manipulation and the greed that have followed her since she was a teenager. And whether people love or hate her, Britney Spears is still commanding the spotlight on her own terms. Her story is far from over. And if there's one thing Britney's proven time and time again, it's that she always rises, even when the world expects her to fall. So maybe the next chapter won't be about Kevin or even about the past, but about a woman finally finding peace after years of chaos. So what do you think? Was Kevin brave for telling his truth? Or did he cross the line by exposing private moments from a marriage that ended nearly 2 decades ago? Drop your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and join our community for more real talk on Hollywood's most dramatic stories. This is Hush Buzz, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.